Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going through my comments. Actually, I've already gone through them to save time, and I did some screenshots of a few, and I'm going to answer those comments on camera. What happens is when I go away, I can't keep up with the comments and it just takes a lot of time to reply to them. But some of you guys do ask questions that I would like to address, so I thought, why not just turn that into a video? Instead of doing a Q&A where I ask you guys to send me questions, I'm just going to go through and look at questions that I naturally get and answer them. First of all, my hair. My hair dryer bit the dust. It just, the little thing there that you have to push to plug it in, that finally just died. It's a very old hair dryer. I would say at least 25 years old, about. So I have a new one on the way. Since I couldn't dry my hair, I threw some mousse in it and just like shook it dry. And I think it looks kind of cute. It's like little flippy things going on. I just like it. I'm loving the short hair. And I will show you the back. I haven't yet. You know, there's definitely some unevenness. You know that doesn't bother me at all. And there's like a patch of gray down by the neck. So I have hair dye coming. Didn't bother to give you guys the poll for the hair dye. I just went with dark auburn brown for now, and I do plan on going lighter this summer when Skylar's here. That will be our hair thing that we do together. I'd like to try to strip my hair maybe and try to get the color red that she has, or similar. We never know what I'm going to end up with. But anyway, here's the back. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it is certainly fine by me. I don't care. It's just hair. Like I said, it's going to grow out. In about a month from now, it'll just grow out enough that it'll just look nice and messy. I like my hair to look messy. I like messy hairdos. I know so many of you have said Skylar did a good job, You got to remember, this kid is just cutting with scissors. I don't think she has any knowledge as to what she's actually doing. I don't think there's any plan like I'll do this and I'll do that. My thing that impresses me about her, and did I mention this? I don't know. I'm impressed by the fact that she sees it through from beginning to end. She doesn't get bored with it. She doesn't hand me the scissors and say, you finish. You know, she just stays with it. And it was a long process. I think we were in that bathroom for at least an hour and a half, probably 2 hours, and it was hot in there, and she just never complains. She doesn't say, I'm tired, can we be done now? She just, right from beginning to end, she's as good as gold, and she would have been willing to do more. She would have been willing to turn around and dye my hair after that. So that's the part that impresses me, and I will, of course, always love anything she does, because I want her to know that she can be good at anything she wants to be good at. Even if I absolutely hated the haircut or how things turned out, she will never hear that come out of my mouth. Never. Because that can damage you for life. I know this for a fact. Okay, enough about the little short flippy hair. I am going to just start answering a couple of these questions. I don't have too many, so let's just go. This was a good one. Somebody just pointed out today that when I did my earnings update, when I paused on the earnings page, the ad revenue plus the YouTube Red revenue did not equal the total revenue. The total revenue was a little bit higher. And that's because, first of all, everything is estimated and it fluctuates. But there are other kinds of ways you can earn, which is called partner sold ads. Those are so minute, at least for me, that they don't show up. So they're just showing the big ones, the YouTube ad rev and the YouTube Red rev. And so that's how come it doesn't always equal the total. There are other things that come into play that just aren't worth them pointing out. Now, definitely the total should never be lower than the other two added together, because that wouldn't make any sense, but it can be higher. Hope you do more food concoctions. That's not really a question, but I just wanted to say that I will be doing more when Skylar's here. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be doing them when it's just me, because it's just my mother that would be eating the stuff I make. I will make some things for her, especially no-bake things. I would like to do like maybe some sweets for her that are no-bake. My thing is that since I eat just meat, there's no reason for me to be turning on my oven and making my house hotter than hell for the sake of baking a cake. I buy her sweets now, and I don't like to smell the sweetness, but I can do some concoctions, food concoctions along the way, but definitely when Skylar's here, we'll be doing more of them. And this was interesting. Can you add states in your stats on your next video update? Never thought of that. I like the idea. It only will take a few seconds to show you guys the states. I definitely can at least do like the top 5 states or top 10 states quickly. There might be a few other stats that I'll let drop just for the sake of time. But yeah, sure, I'll add some states. We'll see if anybody likes that. I should do live videos. I don't think that's going to happen with me because I am an editing whore. I mean, to me, it's all about the editing, and so I would have a very hard time with live videos because there are times that I would just be choked on my words and I'd feel like a complete idiot, or, you know, just all kinds of things. For me, it's hard enough to do videos, even knowing you can edit out the mistakes or, you know, the long pauses or all the And here's the other thing. I don't like watching live videos. I have some YouTubers that I absolutely love and will watch everything that they upload. But if they're live, I skip it. I have no interest. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it is more of just, I guess I like to see the people that I watch be more of a little bit of a performer than just themselves. Now that sounds terrible. They're themselves. But with the editing, you can just tweak things a little bit to just get the personality in there. I don't know. I don't know. Leave it in the comments and let me know, do you like live videos? I don't. I'm not interested at all. I don't even like the live tips videos. First of all, live videos, some of the tipsters, they'll talk for 2 hours as if I want to spend any amount of time like that learning about a YouTube tip. And even though the video is there after it's not live, I'm not going to watch all that to see if there's a possible tip I can use somewhere like at hour 1.5. I mean, you know, it's just dumb. I don't like it. I'm very curious to know if anybody out there feels the same way about, if you don't care for the live videos, let me know why, because I can't quite put my finger on why I don't like it, but I just don't. So I have to be passionate about something if I'm going to do it. That's why I say I don't think I'll ever be doing live videos, because I'm not fond of them. I'm not fond of watching them. I'm certainly not about to start creating them. But I never say never. Things can change down the road that might make me for some reason feel it's necessary, but not necessary at this point. How do I suggest putting the crazy quilt blocks together? I will be talking about that more after this series is done. I will be coming up with different ways to put blocks together. I personally really like quilt as you go, where you can put blocks together after quilting them. I don't like to ever have an entire quilt under the arm of my sewing machine. Not my kind of quilting. But there are other ways to get around that too, to make it a little bit easier. So do stick around if you like any of the quilting stuff, because there is plenty more on the way. Oh, why don't you just go to one of those places that are like $10, like Supercuts? Because that would be super boring. Please know that my haircut videos have very little to do with the actual haircut. I think the majority of you get that. But you have to remember, I'm a YouTuber, and this is what I do. I record my life. Second of all, I've been cutting my hair and dyeing my hair by myself for years, since I was a teenager. There is absolutely no law saying that your hair has to look a certain way. So what you might think is stupid, or I've even been called irresponsible for even letting my granddaughter do such a thing. You people need to get a fucking life. That's all I can say. Do you know how many more important things there are in this world besides how my hair comes out? I mean, you know, And what kills me is, why would it concern you that much? It's my head of hair. You should not be pissed off because I didn't cut it a certain way or that I did it myself. I just will never understand these kind of things. And I know some are just trolls and they just like to cause trouble. But in real life, there are people who really feel that way, that it is so important and it's got to be done a certain way. I'm so glad I didn't get that disability. I have a lot of disabilities, I think, but caring about my hair is not one of them. And I do care about my hair enough in as much as that I like it. It's like, it doesn't have to look like you want it to look for me to like my hair. I don't know. I just think it's crazy. Also, think about how enjoyable that is for Skylar and for my audience. I do think about YouTube, you know, when I do stuff. Like I said, it's what I do, hopefully for a living at some point. I consider it my career because a career doesn't mean you're earning tons of money. It's just what I'm putting my heart and soul into. And I got to have fun with my granddaughter. She gets to learn how to do something. I get to put it out there to entertain people. I get to show people that it's not such a big fucking deal if you let a kid cut your hair. It's not the end of the world. So these are all the things that I love about it, and I can't get that by paying $10 at Supercuts. Sorry, not happening. Oh, I liked this because I also wish we called it fringe. Again, about the hair. Some countries call it fringe instead of bangs. I just think fringe is such a cute word. Somebody just learned that Maine decriminalized marijuana. Have I considered smoking it, even if only occasionally? No, and here's why. Because I was stoned from the ages 12 to 15. I know that's young, but those 3 years I was stoned every single day, as long as there was school. I don't remember so much in the summer. Oh, I'm sure I must have still hung around people who got me stoned in the summer, but I used to get stoned every day before school, during lunch, after school. I was a pothead, and also drinking, and also smoking cigarettes. What a fantastic teenager I was. And I never really liked it. I used to get paranoid, so I stopped like at 15, and I did smoke every now and then, you know, maybe for the next few years, and every time it just would cause a great anxiety. And then, have I ever in my adult life? Yes, I have. I even did with Andy once. Well, not with Andy because he wouldn't do it, but when I was living with Andy at my brother's house, I took a couple hits of a joint and I was rolling on the floor laughing just because I looked at the position of our feet on the floor. I mean, that was so hilarious. I was dying. And my brother too. That was a fun night. But so I was in my like early 40s. So would I ever take a hit off a joint? Sure, but I don't like it and I'm not about to start doing it for medicinal purposes. But I might grow it and sell it. That would be cool. We're not getting into that. You know, but I am a businesswoman. Okay, how old is Jared? Never mentioned that. He is 11, but he will be 12 in June. Skylar is 8. She will be 9 in August. So he's a little bit more than 3 years older than her. And I think she's as tall as him now. Different dads. His father is not a big guy. You know, he's a small frame, not too tall. And Derek is tall, like 6'3". I've never met his father, but I have seen him, and my son has met him, so. How do you dare eat meat that isn't refrigerated? These are the kind of questions that make me shake my head. If I bring meat in a bag on the plane with me, I'm eating it that same friggin' day. It's not like I'm gonna have that meat out in the heat for a week. It's no different than making a sandwich. If I bring sandwich meat on the plane, it's not gonna be like more preserved if I slap some bread around it. So my meat is not gonna go bad because I'm sitting at the airport for a couple of hours. Don't get so paranoid about your meat. This isn't a question, but I was talking about the removing food coloring from Skylar's hands. This woman says that when she was a witch in 6th grade, her mother colored her face with green food coloring. I just can't even imagine. I just think that is hilarious. I can imagine that green tint must have hung on for a little while. Okay, somebody said, do you live in Arkansas? You said Rogers. Nope, Sanford, Maine, and Rogers is a little store that we have just in Sanford, Maine. It's Rogers Supadalla, S-U-P-A-D-O-L-L-A, because we Mainers don't like our R's. I just don't know why they didn't change it to Rogers Supadalla. They should have had it R-O-G-A-S, not E-R. They weren't thinking. Skylar is old enough to sit in the front. She's growing up fast. She's not old enough to sit in the front in Maine, but in Memphis, I don't think they even care if you have a car seat for a baby. So she sits in the front there. When she's here in Maine, I still have her sit in the back. She's actually tall enough and her weight is enough that she can sit in the front legally, even though she's not 12 yet. But I just don't tell her that. I just feel like it's, I don't know. I say things like I feel like it's safer if she's in the back, but you don't know what's safer. We could be running down the road and a tree could collapse on us on the back of the car and get her because she wasn't in the front. You know, I understand with the airbags and things like that, but again, with her height and her weight, she's actually safe to sit in the front seat. I think the main reason I don't do it is just because I just don't want to take a chance of some bored cop with nothing better to do will pull me over just to see how old the kid is that I have in the front seat. So she sits in the back here. Oh, and then this is the last one. I'm amazed at how well you travel, even though you have anxiety issues. My anxiety issues are social anxiety, and I've got to tell you, traveling is about the least social activity you can possibly do. I'm always amazed at how, and thankfully, how cold people can be. I mean, you walk through an airport with hundreds of people and it's completely okay to never make eye contact. You can sit in a waiting area, waiting for your plane, and it's totally okay to, you know, turn to the side and ignore the person next to you. You actually get on a plane and sit this close to someone without even, like, you know, there might be the little, like, height, and depending on if that person wants to be a chatterbox or not, I think it's quite clear when somebody sits next to me that I'll be like, hi, and I'm polite, and then I put headphones on, you know, and I put the sign on my head, leave me the fuck alone. There was a woman in front of me the other night. She was chatty in the line when we were lined up to get on the plane, and I was like, oh my God, I can't sit next to her. And it's not anything against her, it's just that I get so bored with it. Bored. It's so painfully boring for me to sit next to someone who wants to talk. Where do you live? What do you do? So she was ahead of me, so I was like, okay, she's going to sit down first, so I can go sit after, but the plane was getting full, and I wanted to get to the back, and she wanted to get to the back, so, and then I needed the right window, so I ended up sitting directly behind her, and she started chatting a lot to the person in the middle, and I was like, okay, once we take off, she'll stop, and she did. Phew, I'd rather hear a baby cry on a plane than a human adult talking, because a baby crying, they can't help it, they're just crying, and but a human can shut their trap and not irritate people. So it's not a social place. You will see in my video that, you know, I did have issues with, like, people standing right next to me. And again, I don't have an issue with that because I know we're not going to talk to each other. I had the custodian sweeping at my feet. The only thing about that is that it blows my mind that, and it probably looked like the airport was busy because there were a lot of people walking around, but where I was sitting, there were seats empty everywhere. And he comes to sweep at my feet, and when I put the camera down, I had to move my feet so he could sweep under my seat. And it's stuff like that that I just want to say, you know, was it really necessary to sweep under my feet while I'm sitting there and talking to a camera in the air? It's not like I have it hidden and he can't see. I'm holding it up in the air. And there were two people that tried to use that phone next to me, and then they just stood there and hung out, and a woman comes and puts her stuff on the seat right next to me and stands there and gets on her phone. I was like, I don't know. I don't understand. See, I just would never throw myself on someone like that. If there were seats available, I would go and take an empty seat to put my stuff, not a seat that is directly against someone. Is it that they just don't think? Do they just not think about how that could look like they're just, you know, too close to someone's space? I don't know. And again, if the airport is full, I don't care if somebody sits on my lap, if that's what they need to do to be comfortable. But I don't want them on my lap if the place is empty. It's like those two people who come and sit in front of me. I purposely moved so I wouldn't even have the traffic of the people walking up and down the terminal watch me eat. So I go move, I get all situated, take out my deli meat, and I start eating. And these two people, with all the choices around to sit, they decide to sit directly in front of me. And there's just no way that I could sit there and eat meat in front of two people when there's nothing else for them to look at other than me. When the place is full, I have eaten meat, steak, with my hands in front of people, and there's people all around, because now I'm not just sticking out like a sore thumb. But if there's nobody around, and then there's this woman sitting there eating meat, how can you not, like, just, like, not look at that when they're right across from you? So I got up and left. I was just so pissed, and I moved. So people in general drive me crazy, but the anxiety part, I don't have any anxiety about flying. I don't feel claustrophobic on a plane. I don't have any of those issues. I'm even willing to crash. Hey, if it's meant, it's meant. I just don't want to suffer along the way. I always think if my plane crashes, I hope I die. I don't want to be like the sole survivor, you know? And now people are going to say, oh, you shouldn't say those things. I should say whatever I want to say. I don't live my life thinking I can't do these things because it will be dangerous. Because I've got to travel, just got to. So it doesn't worry me. That is it. My memory card ran out, had to swap. That's a sign that I have talked for too long. So I am just going to sign off. I will be doing this again, so feel free to ask your questions and you might hear me answer it right here. Not live. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back with more soon. Bye!
I totally meant to read some hate comments at the end. That's how I wanted to finish this off. But then my card ran out of memory and I got all flustered. What a missed opportunity. I will do that next time.